reflect this behavior. So the moon does affect human behavior. However, the moon also will have an effect on the economy as well, because the government knows these signs and they know the instructions. You will see sometimes on a new moon, Bitcoin will rise and fall. Full moons, the blue moon for in August 22nd, Bitcoin begin on its uptrend. And in September, we also have a harvest moon coming, right? Which many people follow and wish to make their economic decisions. Now, another thing, the moon, whenever your zodiac sign enters into your zodiac, right? Thank you, CJ says yes, in the mental health field, right? And you can definitely tell the effects on behavior from the moon, right? And so also the Garden of Eden is restored. The Garden of Eden is restored. And this is discussed in Revelations, right? Revelations 22. Many I've not heard many people explain this or expound upon this, are able to break down what this means, especially in simple terms or in layman's terms or very practical terms, right? But you have Revelations 22 that states, the angel showed me the river of water of life as clear as a crystal. That's why I believe in my crystals. Um, Flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb down the middle of the great street of the city. On each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12. Whether you are watching this live or on the replay, I want you to hashtag the number 12. You know that there are 12 months in a year, right? 12 months in a year. Jesus chose 12 disciples. And let me see if you all want me to get into numerology just a little bit, because I'm definitely going to have a goal to keep this live stream under 1 hour, right? So, Jesus also raised a 12-year-old girl from the dead, right? Jesus raised a 12-year-old from the dead. And the number 12 is repeated a number of times in the book of Revelations, right? 12 disciples, true disciple, as it relates to God people, the healing of woman who had the issue of blood for 12 years. You have put the number 12 in, right? She had the issue of blood for 12 years. And no one could help her. This was a symbolism of human suffering, right? And so when the number 12 in, at the end of 12, it's a symbolic meaning. 12 represents people of God, but 12 also represents the end of a thing as well. John saw 12 tribes, right? 12 angels, 12 foundations, 12 precious stones, 12 gates, and 12 pearls, right? It's not coincident that the numbers 12 is symbolically in frequency in the Bible. The 12 stones in the crown of the woman in Revelation chapter 12. So I love the number 12. It is symbolic, meaning that was derived from people and things and events, and the completion of a power formality of transformation. And so the moon, going back to the number 12, 12 crops yielding its fruits every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing. Again, the woman with the issue of blood who struggled for 12 years. 12 years represents healing people in a health pandemic, right? King Dave says 12 also means power and might. Jesus spoke at the temple at 12. Thank you, King Dave. Help me, as a pastor would say, help me preach, right? Help me preach. Intelligent mind, I'm not doing critic anymore. I am officially retiring. I don't feel like doing critic, right? So help me stay on topic. Help me stay on topic. So with that being said, King David said 12 means power and might. Jesus spoke at the temple at 12 years. Yes, it does mean power and might. 12 disciples, even though he had a Judas, but it still took 12. And then my mentor and I was speaking of the number 13, that Jesus was 13. And so the moon, whenever it enters into your zodiac sign, whether you're a Libra, Virgo, Leo, Gemini, et cetera, the moon enters once a month and you get your free gift from God internally if you know, number one, when the moon enters, right? When the moon enters. Number two, if you're consecrating during that time, that means no drinking alcohol, no sex, fully a focused intention on the infinite God, the infinite power, the infinite spirit, right? To be in meditation and for divine transmutation or a divine right? Interaction of power, as King Dave said, a power and might. The number 12, power and might. And so when you add 13, you add one more, right? The number one means unity, right? When you add that power number to the one, it just excels the power and might on a higher level as far as a global judgment of a people or a particular state or a particular nation, right? And so with that being said, and listen, I know a lot of people tell me, this is my birthday, or my numbers, I'm born on this day and this day, right? But that doesn't mean a whole lot if you don't know what to do with it. See, it doesn't mean a whole lot to know numbers and know their meaning if you don't know how it should be executed. As I was telling my mentor today on the phone, I like to teach people the what, the why, and the when. Number one, when does the moon enter to your zodiac? Number two, what happens when the moon enters into your zodiac? And number three, why does the moon enter into your zodiac? Right? So it's not good. That's a start to know, but this is not about the day you were born. This is about the day, 12 months out of the year, that the moon enters into your zodiac. And I may go into that later on, but and show you when the moon enters in your zodiac. D says 12 powers a man. Kim says she thinks hers enter tomorrow. So this is your highest spiritual days to get the crystals, the anointing, the inner anointing of your anatomy, of your body, right? That many people don't know, that transmutes up to your pineal gland. So it's not just about a birthday. Every month, the moon enters in at different days of the year. And these are 12 free gifts, right, from God. 12 free gifts from God. And it also can bring about a healing. Again, the woman that had the issue of blood for 12 years. And all she did was connected with the hem of Jesus' garment, that one that made the powerful manifestation transfer take place. And the day of the power transfer, she connected with that one hem, just touched 1 inch, which transfuted that into 13. So this is your one-on-one appointment with God that happens, or the infinite powers, infinite spirit that happens 12 times out of the year, right? 12 times out of the year. So the head of a new thing has happened. SEPT, S-E-P-T, means the number 7, right? Means the number 7. And so the number 7 is, again, divine transition. This is a time to remember 7 rainbows. Remember the Lord thy God, who gives you the power to get wealth. This is a time of remembrance right now. It is also a time of resetting. This is why you saw crypto on the rise, especially ADA today. This is the time of remembrance. This is the time of resetting. Remember the Lord thy God, who gives you the power to get wealth. Again, restoration. Remind yourself not to repeat past mistakes. If you have not managed your money correctly, for example, now is not the season to continue to make those same money mistakes. If you spent your stimulus on big screen televisions, on seafood, on steaks, on crab legs, on vacations that you can't afford. This is not the time to continue those same bad habits or those same bad mistakes, especially with your money. This is a time of reflection, to reflect what you could have done more responsibly, because this system is about to crash. This is dispensation of time where we are in the fourth watch, a special mission or quest, right? And so, John, thank you so much for the testimony. He said, been listening to me since 2020. I helped him and his family and friends make so much money since 2020, especially with Dogecoin and other cryptocurrency. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that testimony. As Pamela give into the 11:11, I'm going to break down 11:11 as well. So September is not the number 9, right? We're not operating on the Gregorian calendar. That's not in alignment with the Bible. The number 11, and this is what really made me live stream, right? This is what really made me live stream when I saw this, is the number of judgment. The number of judgment, as Pharaoh had judgment in the 11th year. And it came to pass, people, in the 11th year, in the first month, which 7, again, astrology, September, Libra is in the 7th house. In the first month and the 7th day of the month, the first month, the head of a new year, in the 11th year, judgment came against Pharaoh, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed, to put a roller to blind it, to make it strong, to hold a sword. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and will break his arms, the strong, and that which is broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out from his hand, and I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and disperse them through other countries. This is Ezekiel chapter 30, verses 20 through 23. There were 11 rulers in the Bible by God for their rejection of the truth, right? A total of 11 rulers in the Bible were judged by God. I've left that out, for their rejection of the truth. In 2 King, you have judgment that came. So with number 11 comes the day of judgment. Let me give you an example, non-biblical. The Islamic terrorist attack on America that occurred in September 11th, the Twin Towers, right? Which were the targets of the attacks, visually resembled the number 11, the Twin Towers, and we also have the Miami condos. The first airplane that crashed into the Twin Towers was American Airlines, number 11. Did you all know that? That the first airplane that crashed into the Twin Towers was American Airlines, right? Number 11. Number 11. American Airlines Flight 11, I'm sorry. Flight 11 had 92 people on board. 9 plus 2 equals 11. 9 plus 2 equals 11. And see, I don't want spiritual people coming on my channel talking about all this stuff about spirituality and you don't know the practical stuff. Don't be so spiritually minded that you are no earthly good. It does not matter what day you know your birthday on. If you don't know what these numbers represents going into the future, does not matter about you know about DNA and the number 3 or whatever. We're talking about number 11, right? I don't care about if the earth is a globe right now. It doesn't matter right now in this live stream, Felix. Doesn't matter. We're going to stay focused. We're going to stay focused about your future that is coming quickly. So American flight number 11, flight 11 had 92 people. 9 plus 2 is 11. And flight 77 had 65 people on board. 6 plus 5 is 11. 6 plus 5 is 11. 77 mentioned 2 times in 9/11. 77, 19 since the Bretton Woods Agreement. 77th-year anniversary happens this year. The Bretton Woods is what tied the dollar to gold and made the gold valuable, what made the dollar valuable. Let me pull up the Bretton Woods Agreement real quick. Right? I'm not on here to be spiritual without a cause. That is not my purpose. It is no good to know spirituality if you don't know how to make both the earth realm and spirituality combine and work together. Because now you still don't know the earth system. Some of these conversations you all have are not relevant at this time. People, we are entering the Great Depression 2.0. Again, are you prepared? That's the question. This is the Rosh Hashanah, the head of a new year. The birthday of creation, the 6th day of commitments, enter into the 7th, which is divine transition, which means a reset, a rest, a bankruptcy with the dollar is happening. That's all that matters in this live stream. Remind yourself not to repeat your past mistakes, especially when it comes to your finances. Especially when it comes to your finances. Especially when it comes to your money in this season. You need to repent. This is what the Rosh Hashanah is about. And reflect. I'm not talking about whether the earth is a globe or not. That's another live stream from another day. If that's what you want to talk about, please get on somebody else's live stream tonight. So the 77, again, I'm talking about 9/11 and what the number 11 represents. The second flight in 9/11, flight 77, the first flight was American Airlines, number 11, had 92 people on it. 9 plus 2 is 11. The second flight was 77, had 65 people on board. 6 plus 5 is 11. When the Twin Towers was on the 11th state added to the Union. The number 11 continuously to be used by terrorists. Because that's the meaning of God's judgment. Right? That's the meaning of God's judgment. And so we have the Bretton Woods Agreement. Right? We have the Bretton Woods Agreement that happened in 1944. This is the 77th anniversary for that as well. It is time for a reset. It is time for a rest. A time for a bankruptcy. Under this agreement, central banks will maintain a fixed rate between the currency and the dollar, right? And they made the dollar valuable. That means we did not have increased pricing. That means it had a gold standard. That means that you can redeem this paper currency for real money, which is gold. Right? And then, well, other countries could. And then after this was removed from Bretton Woods, from saying gold certificates and silver certificates to just fiat currency, that caused inflation. And I told somebody today, I said, now, if our grandparents used to say a dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to, then our dollar is not doing anything. If our grandparents and great-grandparents said the dollar doesn't stretch as far, our dollar is not even stretching the surface. Let me say that again. If our grandparents and great-grandparents said the dollar does not stretch as far as it used to, then now in 2021, our dollar is not even stretching the surface. Right? I don't need you all way in la la land tonight, my spiritual people. I need you focused. Because see, you can be spiritual and broke. You can be religious and broke. And that will put you in a depression where you don't care about having a conversation whether the earth is a globe or whether it's flat or not. I promise you, being broke and losing someone you love, or having a down point in your life is three formulas that will have you dealing with depression. Someone on my live stream said this morning, money ain't everything. Well, you try living without it. Try going somewhere and you have no money, and you can't purchase food, and you can't purchase water, and you can't pay your utilities. Right? I saw a very sad post today, for example, from someone from Louisiana, said they lost everything. And the stench from the odor of the water being on their in their house, you couldn't even mop it up. And they said the stench was so bad you couldn't even stand to go in to try to mop it up. Living out of their homes, she said she would never value just having a good hot bath again. And only dry clothes that they have is the clothes in the duffel bag in their vehicle. As Jim Rohn would say, money isn't everything, but it ranks up right up with oxygen. It ranks just as high as oxygen. Right? I don't have time for this spiritual deep stuff when you're broke. I don't have time for your religious regimens and you're broke. Right? Let's you love my accent, but I can put this southern accent on you. So 11, judgment. I need to tell them that, because Monday is Labor Day, and the seventh formula will be Tuesday following Labor Day.